We just had the first part of the town hall on the Democratic side. It's Bernie Sanders. First, he was sitting uncomfortably close to the two moderators, Chuck Todd and Jose Diaz-Balart, and they got in his face, almost literally. And every question was, why are you against President Obama? Here's a clip of you being against President Obama. Now, in a Democratic primary, that could, if not handled properly, could damage Bernie Sanders. And every question was asked in a negative light and with, in this case, Hillary Clinton framing against Bernie Sanders. Then they go to the audience, and those questions were not written by the audience members. Okay, they are written. First of all, they're reading them all, right? Okay, they might have written them down early, and you can read them, etc. But the framing of the questions, that last woman who asked the question was a student basically saying, "Why are you giving me a free education? Please don't." Okay. And, okay, let's say that it was her idea to ask that question, and I would believe that.
About education.
About education in general. But the way Brian mentioned it as we're doing the live coverage, the way the follow-up question was, the second part of her question, was exactly how a producer would write the question. Yeah. How about the efficiency of this? And given that it costs twice as much as Pell Grants, really? Yeah. Really? Okay. Yeah. And every question is going to a specific subset of people, and having a Latino ask him, well, what are you going to do about deportations? As if, like, deportations are Bernie Sanders' fault when he's the most liberal senator in the Senate. Then you go to, a young woman, and she asks, well, what doesn't education cost too much? Like, it's a little too convenient that every demographic is asking a question about that demographic in a completely hostile and skeptical fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could just take those simple facts and turn them around. So why are you going to do this if it costs twice as much as Pell Grants? Well, that's interesting. So you're saying that we could only spend twice as much as Pell Grants, and instead of leaving people indebted for several decades after graduating college, we can just pay for the entire thing. That actually sounds amazing. That sounds like a huge bargain. And also to say, if we have a problem in college of the cost, the efficiency, and how versatile it is, why solve one if it's not going to simultaneously solve all of them?
But
it's just a ridiculous framing.
The efficiency is what bugs me the most. Too. And that is straight from the playbook of when you remove competition, and I've been hearing this from people around me too, friends and stuff. Should we reward people? Just give them a free education? Don't you have to work for that?
That's why we should take away high school and elementary school.
I just don't believe she thought of that aspect of that. It felt like a producer screened the question, then added that, edited that. And really, if a producer at MSNBC is trying to bring value to these town halls, how about eliciting a different kind of response or a new dimension to the same old fucking argument?
Yes.
Like, if you're going to ask about the education thing, what is something we can ask him that he hasn't already said?
Yeah.
What's a dimension of it? I don't know, like how much do we need to cut the Pentagon budget to come up with the money to provide the grants? Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
That's I don't know what the answer to that is. But I'm just saying, like, producers are cutting themselves, they're just devaluing their own programs and their own news value. I don't know.
See, Brian's question would also be challenging. It'd be an interesting, challenging question, but it would be smart, it would be different, it would maybe get him off of his talking points, because it's not like Bernie doesn't have talking points, he also has talking points. They ask him about minimum wage, he goes to his minimum wage talking point. I get it, but like that way you could be challenging without being fake and without being skewed, right? So I look, honestly, I'm again in a rage, right? Because yesterday we do the GOP town hall, it is the softest questions I have ever seen in any debate or town hall. And then when I get on CNN for that, they say, no, it's a town hall. It's not a debate. That's not fair. Here we are at a town hall for the Democrats, and every single question has been enormously critical or skeptical of Bernie Sanders. So what happened to musicals?
Or if I were in a relationship with any one of those questioners, I would say, like if I were having dinner with any of those people, I would say, hey, whoa, why are you backing me in a corner like this?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask me a question that I can answer with real analysis?